Hey everyone, Chris here from AV.technology. I'm here with Pieter from Adamson.
Nice to meet you, Chris.
Thought it'd be a good opportunity to catch up here, I guess sort of where Adamson's at. We're at InfoComm 25, so obviously there's a bit more of a focus on your installation side of your business. And we've got carefully positioned behind you some brand new amps on a huge billboard behind you. Do you want to just sort of speak to that first and how it kind of fits in with the company vision?
Yes, we are very happy to announce this new line of products, our XG integration amplifiers that we are releasing in 4 different models, typically aimed at the integration and installation market, where there will always be a need for passive speakers and therefore also amps, rec amps. It's the first time that we've released a rec amp, so this is a big step for us. And a big step in creating our own Adamson ecosystem.
What does that mean?
Well, if you would go back to COVID, everyone of us who is watching will know as well that have experienced worldwide shortages, supply chain disruptions. After COVID, it took a while for that to sort of become normal again, but the old normal has not really been reached. There are now different reasons for trade disruptions, whether it be US tariffs, Chinese export restrictions. So we have basically continued what we already set in motion before the pandemic started, and that is to make as much as we can, or basically almost all of our products and every part of our products in-house, to not be reliant on supply chain disruptions very often, so to decrease the risk that you might run. So these amps, for example, are fully made in-house. We populate PCB boards on our Fuji high-speed assembly line. We make the metal housing, we make all the parts in the amplifier. So there's no OEM or white labeling going on. It's all been developed in-house by Adamson. It works with, or it will soon with the next update of Array Intelligence. It will also be working with our proprietary software, Array Intelligence, another example of what we make in-house.
So that's really interesting. Like I always knew, well, I guess Adamson was always famous for making its own drivers.
Yes.
Yeah. But clearly, you know, you had to before the disruptions, you were outsourcing some of the manufacturing to the Far East and whatnot. But that's all gone.
Yeah, there were some things that we were outsourcing, and there's always little things, you know, from Nutric plugs to the casters of our dollies that we make. But we, by increasing our production capabilities, we've also made sure that we've increased our molding capabilities, so that we are now working on, you know, making molds so we can do basically everything in-house. And if there's another disruption with the Far East, that we wouldn't suffer from that.
How would you describe Adamson at the moment? As far as the markets it's selling into, and you know, I guess, you know, when I first got to know Adamson, it was big PAs, huge rental stocks,
yes,
and then as we went further, you know, we started to see Adamson point source and installation product and and all of that. You're still, I guess, perceived as like a primo brand, like in the top echelon, in the top sort of 5, I guess, of audio brands.
Yes.
So, but like, where is your business now, you know, and is that sort of makeup of the pie chart changing?
Yes, that makeup is changing. We've traditionally been big in touring, in live touring. Also because when Adamson started in 1984, there was not really an installation market to speak of. Pro audio entered that installation market very late. It's still a very young market. That also means there's a lot of opportunity that, of course, we want to tap into. So as we, you know, gradually developed from basically a maker of just passive speakers, a wooden box with an amazing driver in it, and I generalize now because it's an art to make that. We have by now turned into a full-fledged technology company. So we've expanded our factory in the last 2 years, where our electronics department is housed, and that has been a big change, obviously, for us. We've started that movement, I believe, 7-8 years ago with the release of the CS series, our first powered and intelligent speakers, so onboard DSP as well, redundant Milan. And that is something that, you know, the ecosystem that I refer to, the Milan connections, our DSP capabilities in combination with Array Intelligence, our software, that's the ecosystem that I am speaking of. And with that, we also emphasized more the installation market. So we have products that are typically aimed at the install market. And I'm not only talking amps, I'm talking small speakers like the IS5C, the IS7C, part of the IS series that also have the larger IS10s, for instance. So yes, this is a vertical where we are growing and where there's lots of opportunity still, just because it's such a young market. It's less saturated than touring.
Sure. Could I ask you about immersive or spatial?
Yeah.
How much of a big deal is it? Is it always going to be very niche?
No, I cannot look in the future, but I see more and more a trend of acceptance of it. It has a learning curve, even for experienced engineers, because if you're talking about live applications, which it's being used for quite a bit. We just had a tour through France of the music of Gladiator, classical orchestra, a big choir, where we had, I believe, 5 large front fills used with the Fletcher machine. There was a learning curve for the technical crew there. It's many more boxes, etc. But after a week or so, they said, I've got my sound together so quickly, because there's less overlap between inputs, there's less masking going on, everything almost naturally finds its space in the whole spectrum.
Yeah. The frontal array approach makes a lot of sense to me, and it feels like a more logical or more incremental step up for engineers.
Yes, there is, I think, a misconception that immersive or spatial, because immersive is basically the experience and spatial is the technique, the technology behind it. There's this misperception that it's all about special effects coming from behind, like in a surround setting in a movie. But it's much more than that. It's first and foremost about giving everybody in the room the same experience.
Well, I appreciate your time, Pieter. Well, I guess you won't know the touring calendar of all of the tours that your gear goes out with, but it'd be interesting to know, because I guess you mentioned, I think it was Imagine Dragons and who else? Linked?
Yeah, so right now
Linkin
Imagine
Park.
Dragons and Linkin Park are about to embark on their European leg of their world tour. Both will tour with VGT.
Right. Well, it'll be good to hear VGT in action in a huge gig, so I might keep that one on the on the radar.
We've started sending out rigs to the Pacific and Southeast Asia,
right,
so
awesome.
you'll be able to hear it for yourself very soon.
Well, thanks for your time, appreciate it.
Very welcome.
See you next time.
All right.